Cryptids. Ever since I was a child, the very term had intrigued my ever-curious mind. I was relentless on research and observation of facts, of articles and pictures. Not surprisingly, I was often the most eccentric of the bunch, especially at school. No one had even shared the same sentiment, leaving me to a solitary fascination which I had to learn to accept, and eventually enjoy. It was better in that manner, I suppose. I was 28 then, an intern for a magazine which specialized in tour and travels. After a bit of time, which I think was a period of about 3 or 4 months, I was rather fortunate and lucky enough to be brought along on a trip to Tristan da Cunha. Even in today's terms, it still remains the most remote place on Earth. On it exists no airstrips, no roads, no man-made docks, only a shoreline to greet small boats from the great continent of Africa, bordered by those few who dare to experience its mystical beauty. One that captivated my hunger for the unknown, as you may have presumed. Ah, the wonder of youth. The island of Tristan da Cunha is a very small one that does not even qualify as a country, despite its independent stand with the Atlantic Ocean. Today it possesses its own local government, and even has connections with the outside world via satellite and internet relays. It was a very long and treacherous drive through South Africa by a 4x4 vehicle. I went in with a 3-man crew, one that included the delegated journalist herself, the photographer, and then there was me, the eager and hopeful intern. This journalist was a veteran member of the press, and a good traveler as well. She was about 30 years old, had short brown hair, and a deep look in her eyes that somehow intimidated me. She brought along a notepad, a pen, and a recorder. Without a doubt, her presence alone let us assume that she was the leader of the team, since both me and the photographer did not possess the kind of experience she had. You could say I was the least seasoned of the team. That aside, it took about 2.5 weeks to traverse South Africa's unforgiving terrain, climate, and other natural conditions, like the heat and the bewildering variety of wild animals. Basically, Tristan da Cunha was an island 2,000 kilometers from the nearest speck of civilization, a lone dot on the map. This frightened me, considering that if anything went gravely wrong, either we had to wait for weeks or even months for emergency services to come to our aid, or we could even die waiting. As travelers, we instinctively took that risk, for the sake of journalism and information. Besides, who else gets the chance to visit the most remote location in the world? On a bleak Thursday, the 16th of July in 1992, we embarked on the last leg of the journey in South Africa. An imposing 80-kilometer dash to the shoreline before we departed by boat towards the island itself. By that time, our vehicle had experienced severe mechanical errors, such as a broken driveline, punctured sidewalls, and a cracked axle, all of which were thankfully replaced or repaired by the South African mechanics, albeit we couldn't risk any more daring tactics with the car, so we were told to drive at a slower, more careful pace.